Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Hartford Whalers expansion franchise on NHL 24. We're now at episode 14, and this is going to be our trade deadline episode, as the Hartford Whalers have not been playing good hockey in the past couple months, and we're going to be full-on sellers here, as we're just 3 games away from the trade deadline, opening up at Edmonton, who we actually defeated earlier in the season in our first and only overtime victory so far. So we're going to jump right into it now and simulate this game against the Oilers, who are in the playoff race right now in the Western Conference. We will fall down 1-0 goal from Fogle. And then Nugent Hopkins nets one as former Oiler Cody Ceci scores his second goal of the season. Now we'll sim this third period as it sees Hartford comes back to win again against the Oilers. Philip Zadina ties it up, and then late in the game, at 1:39 left, Jake Evans scores and spoils it there for the Oilers. Jake Evans, first star, 1 goal, 1 assist, 1 hit, and Arvidsson, 2 assists there as the third star. So obviously this team has not been playing good hockey in the past few episodes, but always good to start off with a win here. So now we'll sim over to Vegas, another good team there in the West, as they're at the top of the Pacific. And then following this, 1 game at Arizona, and then we're going to be at the trade deadline. Nothing after the first against Vegas. We give up 2 there in the second, but Mangiapane adds 1. And we'll sit in this third period as we fall 4-1 here to a very good Vegas team. Now just 1 game here away from the trade deadline. As we actually threw Victor Arvidsson on the block, and it looks like his former team, Buffalo, is trying to get him back, but that offer is not good at all, so we're not even going to entertain that. Although, as we'll sim this game against Arizona, Matt Grzelcyk and Victor Olofsson have been added to our trade block. So those are guys we're going to probably trade here in this next day. As we fall 2-0 in the first period to Arizona. No scoring there in the second. And then we only get 1 there in the third from Patrick Kane as we fall 4-1. And Scott Wedgwood was put into the game there. So maybe Matt Murray got hurt. And you see Jonathan Toews is there for the Coyotes. He scores 14 seconds after his former teammate. So interesting how that lined up there. And a quick update from that Arizona game. Matt Murray actually did get hurt. So for the first time, we're going to have to call up a new goalie. And that guy's going to be Daniil Tarasov. He's missed a lot of time down there at the AHL this season, but when he's been on the ice, he's been absolutely phenomenal, scoring a .920 save percentage, .225 goals against average with 3 shutouts, and a 12-9-2 record. He has 21 previous NHL games, and they haven't really went well for him, but Tarasov is going to be our backup goaltender here, former third-round pick of the Columbus Blue Jackets, and we'll see how he fares with the injury to Matt Murray. Along with injury to Matt Murray, Nolan Patrick also suffered an injury in that last game, so he's going to be out for some time. And now before we jump into it and enter this trade deadline, we'll just take a quick look at our trade block. As you see, Nick Cousins has been on the block most of the year, only 20 games played and only 3 points in those 20 games. Jordan Martinick at 20 games as well, 2 goals to his credit, and both of those guys are probably going to be moved here. Now we'll move down to Victor Olofsson, who we recently added to the trade block. 11 goals, 20 assists, 31 points in 62 games. And we just saw recently here in this episode, Buffalo tried to get him back on a trade offer, but we're going to look elsewhere. I don't think we're going to send him to Buffalo. And then Matt Grzelcyk is someone we think we're going to get pretty good compensation for. I was very excited about Grzelcyk entering this series. He was our first selection in that expansion draft. As you see his numbers there, 6 goals, 12 assists, and a -32. So he just really hasn't been able to find his footing here in Hartford, and I think we're going to move on from him here in a contract year. As Boston, they're in on Matt Grzelcyk. They want him back. So it's going to be an eventful trade deadline for us for sure, as we're going to look to move a few pieces and acquire some draft picks. All right, so now we're ready to enter the trade deadline here for the first time in year 1 of this series, as Hartford started the season off pretty well. They were in there in the mix, and then they just have fallen off very bad here over these past 20 games or so. cementing our status as a seller and bottom team here in the league in year one. And update trade status, we're going to keep current trade block, of course. And then we're going to go ahead and enter the trade deadline here. Let's see what we got. And Patrice Bergeron is the top player on the block for the Anaheim Ducks. And they've been exceeding expectations. I'm kind of surprised to see them wanting to get rid of him, as it's followed by veterans David Krejci, Marc-Andre Fleury, a couple more goalies, Anze Kopitar, Mackenzie Weegar there for Calgary, Jeremy Swayman. It'll be interesting to see if he gets traded. I don't think it's too realistic here. I mean, Boston making a playoff push, you kind of want to keep two good goaltenders if you can. Maybe wait till the offseason as we see Calgary makes a trade out of the gate as they send Weegar to the Chicago Blackhawks. So that's a big get there for the Blackhawks, who are right there in the thick of things in a playoff spot for in a surprising season with Connor Bedard paving the way, their number one overall pick. And then we're going to search around for some trades of our own right now. I did some research, and I think we're going to try and package Matt Grzelcyk and Nick Cousins to Vegas. As Winnipeg makes a trade down at the bottom, they trade a 2 Quap DiVincentis to the Flyers for a 3, a 6 Nick Seeler, and Sandstrom, a goalie there on Philly. So nothing groundbreaking on that one. What am I doing right now? Vegas. And then we're going to include Nick Cousins here with Matt Grzelcyk. And Nick Cousins, funnily enough, was traded to Vegas at the 2020 deadline, as he played about 7 games there. So I usually will do fine trade, as at the bottom there, Buffalo Sabres trade Eric Johnson and Kulikov to the Panthers for Sergei Bobrovsky. So the Sabres trading for a veteran goaltender there. And let's see. I usually would do fine trade to kind of test the waters and see what the team is willing to give up. But here I'm just going to kind of go in blind to make it a little more difficult. So we'll start with a 2 as a base there for Vegas. And maybe look through some of their skaters, see if they have any prospects that jump out. And then Tampa Bay trades Nick Paul 2 to the Flyers. Flyers another trade as the Lightning acquire John Klingberg there from Philly. So it looks like Philly are sellers here so far. Just really looking for names in red. Like here we see a defensive prospect, Daniel Chaika. And he's kind of tempting, so maybe we'll try and throw him in there as well. 21-year-old two-way defenseman. So it looks like they have more value. So we'll just propose this and see what they want, see what they say rejected. So maybe if we try to add a late pick, it'll swing it. A pick this year, try to throw in a 7 for next year. I don't know if this is even going to work, but we shall see. We try and make it a 6 next year instead. Chicago makes another trade, trading Cagnani and Phillips to the Canadiens for Sean Monahan. Big acquisition there for Chicago, making 2 big trades here on this trade deadline. And they reject that one as well. Are we close at least? What if we threw in a 6 this year? I don't think that'll make much of a difference, but we're going to try to be shiesty here. What about a 5 next year? I feel like that's kind of... Vegas Golden Knights make a trade. They trade a defenseman and they acquire... So no one that would affect this trade. So they did just give up some draft picks. Let's try and... let's throw in a 5 for next year. And on their side, we'll throw a 7. Although I don't think this is balancing the scales quite yet. Take away the 7. And they'll accept that. Wow, I didn't expect that. Just taking away the 7 and it went. So Matt Grzelcyk and Nick Cousins head off to Las Vegas as we acquire a 2nd-round pick and a defensive prospect, Daniil Chaika. And I'm fairly happy with that trade. I don't like how we had to give up a 5, but we acquire a 2 and a pretty good defensive prospect and unload Grzelcyk and Nick Cousins there. So we do now have 2 second-round picks in this year's draft. And we still have a couple moves that we're trying to make here. as now we'll kind of look for a deal. And you see Chaika, he's already top 5 in value in our organization. Or I'm sorry, 6th in trade value in our organization as Senators make a move down there, acquiring Koseknikov and Markkanen. So now, yeah, we're going to look to move Victor Arvidsson now. And the ticker at the bottom, of course, giving trade recaps, going over some stats. So that's kind of fun to look at as we go along here in this trade deadline. And Detroit makes a trade. They trade a 2 to Calgary for Noah Hannafin. So a good addition there for the Red Wings on the back end, as they and the Chicago Blackhawks have been fairly active here. All right, so let's pull up Olofsson. And I'll kind of just scroll through his teams. And you see the green pops up there. So Boston is interested in Olofsson. And I meant to throw retained salary on for Grzelcyk and Cousins there, although I don't think it really would have made much of a difference, as the Flyers trade Connor Sheehy, a 4, and Tanner Laczynski to Buffalo for Kulich and Luukkonen. And Luukkonen's been playing tremendous hockey in goal for the Sabres. So I'm kind of surprised to see them trade him here. Although, did they just acquire a goalie? I think they just did trade for a goalie moments ago, I believe. So Olofsson definitely has some suitors. And I think for him, since it's just, as you see, the Kings trade Trevor Moore and Matt Roy for Jeremy Swayman. So Jeremy Swayman does get traded at the deadline as he heads to Los Angeles, and maybe patience there not really paying off in our benefit. As I didn't think he was really going to get traded. I thought Boston would keep him around to be their backup behind Linus Ullmark for this postseason push, but Jeremy Swayman is sold as he heads to the Kings. And I think Bobrovsky was the goalie the Sabres acquired earlier on, as the Hurricanes make a deal as they send first-round pick Oliver Bonk and a couple prospects to the Flames for Chris Tanev. So another defenseman on the move here in this trade deadline, as we're sitting at 8:40. You see the time there in the left-hand corner. We're at 8:45 a.m. with just over 3 hours left in this deadline. So we definitely still have some time to move Olofsson and who was the other player? And Martinick. I don't want to go to find trade here. I'm just kind of going loosey-goosey here, as we have a time slot here in the trade deadline, so we don't really have to rush, as Seattle acquires first-round pick Calum Ritchie, Blomqvist, and Gauthier from Seattle. Pittsburgh making a deal as they try to continue their fight up the standings in the Metro. All right, now we're going to find trade and see what we're getting offered here, but for Victor Olofsson. So we do have 2 trade offers, a 6 and a 7 from the Kings, and a 5 and a 7 from the Devils. I think we can do better than that. The Blues there trade our 3rd-round pick Bortuzzo and Sammy Bly to the Golden Knights for Cormier. So the Knights with their 3rd trade of the day. We'll throw Olofsson back up here. And teams that we're going to kind of talk to include Chicago, Colorado, Minnesota, and Nashville. I think Chicago has already made a couple deals, so maybe they'll just stand pat here. Colorado has not made any deals as they look to add some more depth to their last couple lines there, as Olofsson would be a really good addition on their 3rd line. And then other teams, Minnesota and Nashville. What about Nashville? Let's look at them. It's a shame that when we did find trade, we didn't get any decent offer there for Olofsson. We'll just I'll do a fine trade here for Martinick, and then we'll probably just give him away. As Kylington goes to the Florida Panthers. And we have a few offers here. The Panthers offering a 5. Tampa Bay offering a 5. Winnipeg offering a 5. So it really comes between Winnipeg, Toronto, Tampa Bay. I think we'll just give him to the Florida Panthers. and that's going to bring Mackenzie Entwistle up to the NHL club for the first time. So that trade went through, I believe. Yes, it did. So we trade Jordan Martinick to the Florida Panthers for a 5th-round pick. Martinick was pretty solid for us, but really just no room for him as we want to get some of these young guys more playing time here in the last 19 games or so. And now the last order of business really is to just trade Victor Olofsson. And I feel like we could at least get a 3 or a 4 for him if we get a 5 for Martinick. What about Boston? Yeah, they're pretty solid at left wing for now. Just going to look again at some of these teams. You know, I don't want to just give him to a team who's not going to use him. I want to do something. I want to make it somewhat realistic. Yeah, they already acquired Sean Monahan, so they're probably going to pass. I think Colorado really does make sense. And Colorado already given up their 2nd and 3rd round picks here for this upcoming draft in just a few months. What if we do a 4? And they don't have the salary cap, so I think here we'll have to retain it. And then it should be okay. Let's go ahead and retain all of it. By retaining all that salary, I think they still wouldn't let the trade go through. Colorado would be over the league maximum salary cap, so Colorado, we can't even do that unless we balance out the salaries, and we're not really going to worry about that. We'll look at Minnesota. Playing very well there. Yeah, they kind of have already enough skill. So I'm going to rule out the Wild. Nashville we kind of looked at, but not really, as they have interest. What will they give up? Let's see what happens if we retain the salary. Let's see if we can get a better pick that way. See, Nashville, I think, kind of outplaying their expectations so far this season. So I think they might come back down to earth a little bit. So I'm going to look at a pick for them for next year. And I'll start with a 3 for next year. That's the Canadians. We want Nashville's pick. Nashville kind of stocking up the picks here. They have 2 1s next year, as they have the 1st-round pick from the Lightning. So Nashville would have more than 45 skaters. So we do need to acquire a skater just to even that out. Anyone of note? I'm really just looking for names in red here, seeing if there's any high quality prospects they want to get rid of. That's McDonough. He's too old. So we're going to kind of rule out from Nashville now as well and head over to Tampa Bay and see what they're working with, as we have now just an hour left in this trade deadline. And they definitely could use some help on the wing. So Tampa Bay, we'll look at a 3 next year from them. And they would be over the salary cap as well. So we got to rule out Tampa Bay. At least that makes it kind of easy here. What about Boston? I think we talked about them a little bit. And they're another team that's over the salary cap. So this would not work either. Chicago. We might have to go Chicago, even though they've already made some trades here. As the Coyotes at the bottom make a deal, they'll send Nick Schmaltz and a 4 to the Predators for Ryan McDonough. So the Predators get rid of McDonough. And now let's try and make it work here in Nashville. See any young players that kind of stand out. Zach Leheroux, former 1st-round pick. He's someone to keep in mind. Igor Afanasyev. Having a good time there in the AHL. 6'4", 208 power forward. Only a half hour left here, so we kind of got to hurry. Oh no, I think we're just gonna have to go to find trade and settle for one of those trade offers we got. I didn't really optimize the time here. I thought it was gonna go a little bit slower. As we'll do find trade for Olofsson, and that brings up the Kings and the Devils, and we don't really want to give them to the Devils, so let's edit this trade with the Kings. Or retain salary to try to optimize what they give us in return. There's only 15 minutes or so left here in this trade deadline. And let's see if they'll give us a 3 next year. Let's try for a 4 as well this year. Let's get a little greedy. Rejected. What about a 3 next year and a 5 this year? Time's running out. I don't know. They don't even have a 5 this year. 6 this year and a 3 next year. Rejected. What about just the 3 next year? And they will accept that, as we're going to call up Alexander Nylander. As we just beat the buzzer here, and we take care of business. We made 3 trades, which we will recap here in a second, headlined by Matt Grzelcyk and Nick Cousins to Vegas, netting us a 2nd-round pick and a nice defensive prospect here in Daniil Chayka. 2nd overall pick in 2021 from the Vegas Golden Knights. As we see, the trade deadline has come to an end. As we'll recap the trades, we sent Victor Olofsson to the Kings for a 3rd-round pick. The Devils Metro rivals exchanged players, as Devils acquired Tony DeAngelo in a 5 from the Flyers, as the Flyers get Andre Palat. They're struggling there as a Devil after signing from Tampa Bay. San Jose Sharks acquire a 3, Brandon Tanev, and a 5 from Seattle, as Seattle gets a 3, Matt Benning, and a 5. The Coyotes acquire veteran defenseman Ryan McDonough, a 2 and another 2, as Nashville gets Nick Schmaltz. Toronto acquires Donskoy, James Van Riemsdyk, who is back as a Toronto Maple Leaf after signing with the Coyotes this offseason. And then you see there our trade as we sent Jordan Martinook to the Florida Panthers for a 5th-round pick. Nashville, another trade. They send Kevin Shattenkirk to the Montreal Canadiens for a 3 and Ryan Donato. The Calgary Flames continue to clean house as they send Oliver Kylington to the Florida Panthers. Another move there from the Panthers. The Blues acquire Lucas Cormier from the Vegas Golden Knights for a 3, Ryan Bertuzzo and Sammy Bly. Pittsburgh gets a nice upgrade there on defense with Justin Schultz as they send 2 goalie prospects and Calum Ritchie to Seattle. I think a pretty good move there by Seattle. Another Calgary unloading as they give the Carolina Panthers Christopher Tanev in exchange for Oliver Bonk and a couple more prospects. And then we see the one we didn't want to see. The Kings got Jeremy Swayman, and they give up Trevor Moore and Matt Roy. Swayman, someone that was on our radar, but now he finds a new home with the Kings as he's there for another 2 seasons after this one. And Philadelphia acquired Jiri Kulich and Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. Luukkonen playing very good hockey for the Sabres, and kind of a surprise to see them unload him, although they did acquire a veteran goaltender earlier. But Connor Sheehy heads to the Sabres. Detroit Red Wings acquire Noah Hannafin from Calgary. Of course, Calgary is making another move. Alex Keewan goes to Buffalo. Montreal acquires a goalie upgrade as Ville Husso goes in exchange for Max Domi and Edmondson. So pretty even trade there, I'd say, between teams in the Atlantic. Then we see our first trade there. Vegas acquires Matt Grzelcyk, Nick Cousins, and a 5 for Daniil Chayka and a 2 from the Vegas Golden Knights. Another move there from the Knights as they give the Red Wings a nice defensive prospect in Korzak. Sean Monahan lands in Chicago. Very good addition there as he'll be playing with Connor Bedard. The Sharks trade Alexander Barbunov and Kevin Labanc to the Blue Jackets, who add even more offense to an already good offensive team as the Sharks get a 2, a 3, and a defensive prospect. Tampa Bay acquires John Klingberg from the Flyers, who get Nick Paul and a 2. Buffalo gets Sergei Bobrovsky, a good veteran addition for them on the back end, as Florida gets Eric Johnson and Dmitry Kulikov. So a trade there between 2 Atlantic teams trying to make the playoffs here. As then there's the last 2 here, or I guess they were the first 2. The Flyers make another deal, and then Calgary acquires 2 young players in exchange for Mackenzie Weegar, who also joins the Blackhawks. As the Blackhawks add Sean Monahan and Mackenzie Weegar, as I'll just scroll up here a little bit, as you could just get one last look here at this trade deadline, which went pretty fast. I mean, maybe it didn't go fast for you watching, but sitting here doing it, it went pretty fast. And I'm happy we were able to make all the moves we made. And now we have some work to do. We're gonna have to insert. We're gonna have to reshuffle these lines, and really, it's gonna be a little overhaul than what we've been used to. So I hope we can adapt, adjust, and conquer, and play some strong hockey here in these last 19 games of the season, as we're gonna see some waiver claims as well. Jack Johnson looking to clear waivers, and now if he was maybe a project or an AHL at least quality player, we would maybe go for it, but we don't need him now. He's probably going to retire. And I thought there would be more there after the trade's made, but that's going to do it. Now we're here March 1st, following the NHL trade deadline. And now at this point, we want to play some hard hockey. We still want to win some games, but we kind of see where we stand. Now we are going to jump into this Penguins game and check out a new look Hartford Whalers lineup, which features 4 players making their season debuts. Now it's time to play some hockey. Welcome to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania for this contest against the Pittsburgh Penguins, as we're fresh off the trade deadline. Sidney Crosby takes to the opening faceoff against JT Compher for the Whalers. Draw one by Compher, now Patrick Kane with it, as he stays in Hartford following the deadline. There was some chatter he might be traded, as JT Compher scores quick. On our first offensive zone entry, Compher handles a loose puck and then just rips it right past Tristan Jarry for the opening goal of the game, as Hartford jumps out in front 1-0 early on. Just couldn't handle it initially, then recovers and rips it right past Tristan Jarry off the give from Patrick Kane. And Pittsburgh enters this game just 2 points out of playoff position behind Carolina there in the Metro. As we'll do it again, just 23 seconds into the game, a Hartford lead, they win another draw. Arvidsson dumps it in for the Whalers. Picked up there by Crosby. Now Letang with it. He'll take it into the neutral zone. Peels back, gives to Malkin, who's hit very hard there by Arvidsson. He's going to pick it up and take it the other way. Springs free and then picked up there by Peterson. Poked away by Arvidsson. Now Jensel gives to Letang going up ice. Chris Letang gives to Crosby. Shot Crosby. Saved there by Daniil Tarasov, making his Hartford Whalers debut in this one. It's a new look team here for the Whalers, as we give away Matt Grzelcyk, Victor Olofsson, Nick Cousins, and Jordan Martinick at the deadline. So now we have 4 new faces in the lineup in this game, which we'll see here shortly, as Tarasov makes his opening save here in his Whalers debut after being called up from Poughkeepsie. Victor Arvidsson back with it in the offensive zone for Hartford. He's up against the boards. Loose puck there, picked up by Pittsburgh. Now give to Raquel. He's poked away. Battling there with Orlov, who wins. His centering pass picked up by Brust. And now Raquel, a quick shot in front, gloved by Tarasov. And that was a quick backhand chance. And there's Justin Schultz, who Pittsburgh reacquired at the deadline in a trade with the Seattle Kraken, as Schultz spent about 5 seasons here in Pittsburgh a few years back. As Pittsburgh gets the offensive zone draw, Joseph there taken out, and that's going to be a penalty on Philip Zadina. He just took him out right at the legs. I think he was trying to block the shot and just ended up taking out. I think that was Raquel for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Yeah, he was just trying to block it and ends up taking him out. So Hartford will go to the penalty kill, as Mikael Granlund, Raquel, and Jason Zucker are out there for the Penguins. I almost said Justin Zucker, but I'm thinking of Justin Tucker, Baltimore Ravens kicker. Kept in the zone there. And now Foligno with it will get it out. He gives to Dmitry Orlov. He'll dump it in for Hartford, giving chase Scott Walton, picked up by Granlund. He passes across. Good play there by Foligno, throwing the body. Zucker back with it. He'll give over to Raquel. Justin Schultz with it. His first shot back is a Pittsburgh Penguins save there by Tarasov. Orlov still fighting for it, takes possession. Riley Smith gives to Zucker in the neutral zone. Riley Smith enters the zone for Pittsburgh. Now Raquel. His shot blocked into the corner for Orlov. Loose puck still fighting, picked up by Raquel. And Orlov gets it back over to Lawton. Lawton will get the clear with 30 seconds left on this Pittsburgh power play. Zucker in front for Granlund. Back to Zucker in front, save Tarasov, who closed the angle there. As Foligno gets the clear, and Hartford will kill off that penalty. Good penalty kill there for the Whalers. Pittsburgh really didn't get anything going there with their second power play unit on the ice. Now Stanley with it up against the boards. Kicks up for Zadina, fresh out of the box, over to Mangiapane. Loose puck picked up by Letang. He gives to Sidney Crosby. Barry gives to Mangiapane, over to Stanley. Up to Zadina. Now Tyson Barrie with it. He skates towards the net. Tyson Barrie in front for Logan Stanley. His shot blocked out in there in front by Riley Smith. Letang now with it, takes it into the Hartford zone. He's closed off by Logan Stanley on a nice hit. Back to Zadina. In front, intercepted there by Petrie. Sidney Crosby back with it for the Penguins. He dances in. In front for Letang. Blocked shot in front. Another shot wide. Picked up by Stanley in the corner, who gives up to Alexander Nylander, going up against his former team, the Pittsburgh Penguins, as he makes his Hartford Whalers debut. Along there with 58, Mackenzie Entwistle. Both just called up fresh from Poughkeepsie as they join Connor McMichael on the fourth line. The three of which they all opened in Poughkeepsie to start the season on our AHL top line, so they're reunited here in this one. In front for Jeff Carter, his shot blocked in front. Picked up in the corner by McMichael, who gives to Cody Ceci. Logan Stanley with it. He'll give to Nylander. Working his way in, still in there by Petrie. Joseph gives to Johnson Fahalbi. Loose puck picked up by Josh Brown. Patrick Kane, loose puck back to Logan Stanley. Stanley gives to Patrick Kane up the boards. And stolen there by Raquel in the neutral zone, gives to Rust. Loose puck in front. Raquel now with it behind the net. Gives to Schultz at the blue line. Now Riley Smith in the slot, gives to Granlund. Save Tarasov. In front again for Granlund. Save Tarasov. Still Pittsburgh with it, but they're going to commit a penalty as Hartford will go on the power play here in the first period. Ricard Raquel commits the penalty. He'll go 2 minutes for interference. So now we'll get our first look at this Hartford power play. And that was kind of a weak call if I do say so myself, as Patrick Kane a lot more points here in the season than Jake Gensel, 58-41. Scott Lawton on the draw for Hartford. One there by Pittsburgh. Schultz will clear it up. Not out of the zone though. Mangiapane keeps it into Kane. Now Barry in the slot. Carlson in front for Scott Lawton. Saves Tristan Jarry. Patrick Kane back. Mangiapane with it at the point. He's held up there by Sidney Crosby as the puck exits the zone. Now Crosby's going to pick it up going the other way. Chance in front. His shot blocked. Still in front, Sidney Crosby. His shot is going to go for a goal. Sidney Crosby just single-handedly getting on the board for the Pittsburgh Penguins here on the penalty kill. Lackadaisical there by the Hartford Whalers in their own zone. And then Crosby just rips it right in front. And Tarasov's not going to be ready for that quite yet against Sidney Crosby. Welcome back. And he's greeted by a hard wrist shot there in the front by Sidney Crosby. As Hartford with a minute 22 now on this power play as they surrender a shorthanded goal. Unassisted to Sidney Crosby. And I think it said down there below that was only his 11th of the season. Jason Zucker with it now. As Pittsburgh still on the penalty kill. Another good chance in front. Off a rip. It's saved by Tarasov. So for the first time, as you see a big hit there by Scott Lawton, for the first time in this Hartford Whalers series, we have a goalie other than Matt Murray and Scott Wedgwood in goal. As Matt Murray's injured, we're still waiting to see what his diagnosis is, see how much time he's going to miss. JT Compher picks it up. He'll give in the center to Mangiapane, who gives over to Zadina, and that's going to be trickled off his skate into the corner as he picks it up. He kicks back. Tyson Barrie battling for it. Picked up by Zadina. Now Mangiapane. JT Compher in front for Tyson Barrie. He's going to score. Good puck movement there off the boards. And Tyson Barrie buries his 8th of the season as Hartford takes the 2-1 lead. And that's going to be a power play goal here for the Hartford Whalers, as Barry, I think 6 or 7 of his goals now have been on the power play. Right in front, he's going to beat Tristan Jarry. He's been one of the best goalies here in the Metro so far on this season, as Ilya Sorokin for the Islanders is still probably the favorite for the Vezina Trophy. JT Compher now already with 2 points in this game. That goal early on in the first period, and now an assist there, as well with Mangiapane with an assist. Raquel takes it off the tie-up at center ice. Zadina, loose puck there. Now Mangiapane picks it up. He'll take it the other way. He'll dump it in as Scott Lawton gives chase into the corner against Schultz. Big hit there by Lawton as he's going to get possession. Now still fighting for it as Raquel picks it up over for Riley Smith. And, turnover in front from Philip Zadina, and his quick shot pad save Tristan Jarry. Granlund now with it for the Penguins. Zucker up to Schultz, and he's closed off there by Josh Brown. Dmitry Orlov will give to Mackenzie Entwistle. His first game as a Hartford Whaler. Josh Brown now with it. His pass back to McMichael with some space in front for Entwistle. Back to McMichael. Tucker there at the point, making his Hartford Whalers debut. So we've now seen all four Whalers making their season debuts, with 4 new additions to this lineup, all from our AHL squad, as it's picked up there by Tyler Tucker. Tucker just didn't quite crack the squad following the preseason. He was close. We elected to go with Jacob Larson, but Tucker had a good time there in the AHL, and I'm glad we kept him there. As Entwistle works his way towards the net, his shot saved by Tristan Jarry. There we'll see the hits league leaders, as Scott Lawton tied at the top with Timo Meier for the most hits in the league this season at 159. Sidney Crosby out there against Compher. Advantage Sidney Crosby, as Chris Letang takes it up for Pittsburgh. Now Gensel with it. Overtaken by Kane. Gensel picks it back up. Glove save, Tarasov. And Gensel got a nice opportunity there in front with a quick snapshot. So Pittsburgh, every game matters for them, not so much for us here, as we're now the 3rd last team in the NHL. Pittsburgh just 2 points out of the wild card spot, as Tarasov's able to keep that one in front and cover it up. Pittsburgh can't really squander any of these games, especially against lower level competition, as they try to get back to the playoffs in what is likely to be Crosby, Malkin, Letang's kind of last go at it here in these next season or two. Letang off the post, rebound put home by Sidney Crosby. Letang off the post, banged onto the stick of Sidney Crosby as he buries his 2nd goal of the game, as the Penguins tie it up here. Okay, that's Sidney Crosby's 25th goal of the season. I was misinformed earlier. And just beats the glove there of Tarasov off the face-off. Yep, Letang beat the glove of Tarasov off the post, banked to Crosby, and Crosby finishes it for his 2nd first period goal here. 41 seconds left to record a natural hat trick for Crosby. I wonder how many of those he has in his career, as Cody Ceci takes it in for the Whalers. Over to Logan Stanley, back. Shot blocked in front, ends up on Crosby. 6 seconds left as Jensel takes it in for Pittsburgh, closed off there by Cody Ceci, who will give up to Arvidsson with some space, and he had Patrick Kane in front, but the period is going to come to an end, as we'll enter the 2nd period tied 2-2 against the Pittsburgh Penguins. Now we get ready to resume this game with the start of the 2nd period. Sidney Crosby against JT Compher on the draw. And again, the advantage is going to go to Crosby, although Hartford picks it up at center ice. Now Orlov against the boards, fighting Jake Gensel. He'll get back to Chris Letang. Malkin now against JT Compher. Arvidsson to Tyson Barrie. Barrie shot blocked. Letang peels up ice. He's hit there by Patrick Kane on the forecheck. Kane now ties Letang up against the boards. Letang wins over to Peterson. Letang back with it. Letang works his way in. Stolen there by Dmitry Orlov, as Victor Arvidsson will give to Patrick Kane across ice here in the neutral zone. Pittsburgh back with it. Sidney Crosby. And he gets the dump in. Now he'll chase Victor Arvidsson there as it's a loose puck kicked into the corner. Picked up by Raquel for Pittsburgh. Now overtaken there by Dmitry Orlov. He'll give up to JT Compher. Compher takes it in for Hartford. His pass there to Patrick Kane in front. Pad save Tristan Jarry. Raquel with it for the Penguins. Works his way in. Patient. Loose puck there in front for Granlund. Over to Rust. And they had a one-timer attempt, but it was stolen there in front by Hartford. Clutch defensive play as Tarasov looked like he was going to be beat there. Orlov will skate it in for the Whalers now. Loose puck picked up by Petrie. Raquel will take it up for Pittsburgh. Into the zone, taken by Cody Ceci. He peels up ice. Now Dmitry Orlov. Over to Scott Lawton. Loose puck there in the neutral zone. Petrie now with it for the Penguins. He'll give across to Raquel. Now back to Granlund. Granlund back to Joseph. Over to Petrie in front. Shot, save. Daniil Tarasov. I don't know really what the future for Tarasov is here in Hartford. Back down in the AHL, it actually next to his morale, it said he was a leader down there. So definitely a good locker room guy. Maybe sticks as a backup goalie in Hartford, but I don't know if he really has starter potential. Although we'll see how he develops here to end this season, and as he'll get some run in the NHL. And even if Matt Murray returns, we'll still probably throw Tarasov out there for a few more games. Zucker now. Huge hit by Logan Stanley, laying the body on Zucker. That was a big one, folks. Now Carlson will take it in with some space. Leo Carlson in front for Jake Evans, picked up by Joseph. Backhand shot in front for Carlson is going to be saved and stoppage in play as Jarry hangs on. What a hit there by Logan Stanley on Zucker. Now an offensive zone faceoff won there by Jake Evans as Cody Ceci shot blocked. In front for Jake Evans, he'll score. The ricochet ends up on the puck of Jake Evans as he puts Hartford back up now 3-2. His 6th goal of the season. Jake Evans primarily a third or fourth liner for us all season as he finishes top shelf against the glove of Tristan Jarry. And Evans, he's only one of 6 forwards that we have signed through next season. So we're going to have a lot of turnover here in this coming offseason. But Evans, he'll stick around and continue to be one of our third or fourth line centers as he's back out there with Leo Carlson and Marcus Foligno on an interesting line here for Hartford. Riley Smith will now take it. He's hit hard there by Logan Stanley, asserting his physical presence out there for the Whalers. Still no, as Pittsburgh picks it up almost and then taking at his own blue line, Leo Carlson. Now loose puck ends up for Schultz. He peels back, will give to Smith. Now Stastny with it for Pittsburgh to Johnson Fahalby. Against the boards versus Evans there. Loose puck still. Riley Smith over to Jeff Carter. That's going to be a delayed penalty for Hartford as Cody Ceci will pick up the puck and we'll get a stoppage as Hartford heads to their second penalty kill here. Penalty to Marcus Foligno. And that's going to be interference as he is towards the top of the league in penalty minutes, by far leading our team. So you have Genny Malkin out there now as well for Pittsburgh. He's been somewhat quiet in this game. Crosby looking for a hat trick still as we're halfway through this game at 10 minutes left in the second period. Riley Smith, he'll take it up for Pittsburgh. Now loose puck for Crosby. Now Malkin in front. Blocker saved by Tarasov. Crosby battling in front. He'll get it back. Intercepted by Compher, who will get the clear. Now Schultz picks it up in the neutral zone over to Smith. Brown gets to McMichael. Michael tries to go by Smith, but good defense there. Smith held him up. Now Malkin to Crosby. And they can't get it into the zone. Not yet, at least, as Crosby will pick it up after a fumbled pass. McMichael works his way in for Hartford. Less than a minute left now on this penalty kill. Malkin up ice for Schultz. Schultz works his way in front for Jensel. Now Crosby with it in front. Almost a hat trick there for Sidney Crosby, but it goes wide as he couldn't get a clean shot. Alexander Nylander gets the dump in there for Hartford as he'll give chase against Schultz. Malkin with it for the Pittsburgh Penguins. 5 seconds left on this power play, so they have some time to get one more chance. In front for Gensel. Shot saved by Tarasov. And Foligno gets out of the box. He'll skate it up and give to Comfer now. Comfer over to Nylander. Now Tyson Barrie with a goal already. Loose puck there taken by Gensel. Now Chris Letang for the Penguins. Higgins up to Granlund. Over to Barust. Now Gensel in front. Shot save. And Barrie's there to secure the rebound to avoid any more danger in front. Scott Laughton. In front for Nylander. His shot glove save there off the glove of Tristan Jarry. And now he'll get a freeze. Nylander was looking for a goal here in his first game back against his former team nonetheless. Now Granlund against Scott Laughton there on the draw, joined by Philip Zadina and Mangiapane on this second line. After trading Olofsson, it was only right to give Zadina a much warranted rise up the lines as puck bounces in front and Tristan Jarry is able to keep track of it somehow. That bounced high up and it had some hang time. Mangiapane was there waiting for it as we'll get another offensive zone face-off here. Won by Pittsburgh. Raquel will give to Letang. Letang skates it in for the Penguins. His shot saved Tarasov. Loose puck in front. Zadina now with it. Loose puck again as he's hit there by Raquel. Picked up by Logan Stanley, who gives up to Scott Laughton. Laughton with some space skating it in. In front. Shot blocked there. Blocked there by Letang in front. Now Foligno picks it up. Battling Letang for it. Still fighting. Looks like Pittsburgh's going to get a penalty there. Hooking on Mikael Granlund. So Hartford will head to their second power play of the game. And we did score on our first one as Tyson Barrie netted a power play goal for us. Let's see up against the boards. And he tried to get away with a hook there, but the ref saw that one. Although it didn't seem to impede Foligno at all. He's just too strong. So Jeff Carter against Scott Laughton on the draws. Laughton gets it. Leo Carlsson back to Arvidsson. Shot blocked in front by Carlsson. Kane keeps it in. Scott Laughton now with it in front. Shot blocked. Laughton recovers with it. Over to Leo Carlsson. Carlsson in front for Arvidsson. His shot blocked. Johnson Fahalby to Jeff Carter now, who gets the clear for Pittsburgh. Dmitry Orlov picks it up for Hartford. And like I said with forwards earlier, we only have 6 forwards signed through next season. On defense, we only have 2 defenders signed through next season, as Leo Carlsson gets a chance in front, shot wide. The only defenders we have signed are Dmitry Orlov for 2 more years after this season, and then Cody Ceci for 1 more year as well. So we're going to have to add at least 3 or 4 defenders here, unless someone like Tucker kind of emerges as a solidified starter going into the next season, as we haven't seen him much here in his debut. Now the power play kind of trickling down here for the Whalers as they couldn't really get a zone entry. With just 2:33 left in this second period in a 3-2 Hartford game that they're leading. There's now Paul Stastny and JT Compher on the draw, won by Stastny. Compher had a chance, but he couldn't keep. He had some space going ahead, but he couldn't keep the puck on his stick. That's a nice clear there up the boards. Zucker will take it in. Dangle to Granlund. Pad save Tarasov. That developed nicely for the Penguins, but they couldn't put it home. As Adina will dump it in for Hartford. And he gives chase to Letang. Now up against the boards. Loose puck. Letang keeps possession as he skates it up with just over a minute left in the second period. Hard hit there from Foligno on Letang. And you always know when Foligno's out there because he either commits a penalty or he hits somebody really hard. And he just has a non-stop motor skating all over the ice. And I didn't even think about trading him at the deadline. I knew we would have to keep some bodies up here. And he's someone we really like there on the 4th and 3rd line. Look at him still skating around chasing people. As this second period will come to an end. As Hartford Whalers will go up 3-2. And I will certainly try to hold strong here in the 3rd period. But it's going to be tough to clamp guys like Sidney Crosby and Chris Letang, as we only have 11 shots in this game. Pittsburgh with 18, but Tarasov, obviously his first game of the season, so let's see if he can hold it down here for the Whalers, as we'll have Crosby and JT Compher back out there for this 3rd period face-off. Compher wins it as he pushes Crosby back on the draw. Arvidsson with it for the Whalers on the top line in this one. Centering pass for Kane doesn't go. Picked up by Malkin over to Jake Guentzel. Guentzel works it into the zone. Centering pass there in front, and Evgeny Malkin's going to get the game-tying goal. Good centering pass there from Jake Guentzel, and Malkin finishes strong. And like I just said, it was going to be tough for Tarasov to kind of fend off these electric Pittsburgh players, but not even a minute into this third period, and we've already squandered another lead. So we're going to start back over at 3, as it looked like it bounced off Dmitry Orlov. So kind of fault to Orlov being in that position. And a tough break for Daniil Tarasov, as Malkin now second on the team with 19 goals, trailing Sidney Crosby, looking for his hat trick. So now we'll do it again. 19-12 left. Face-off won by Hartford. Picked off by Guentzel. Poked away by Barry. Guentzel gets it back. Centering a pass there for Letang. And Letang couldn't get the shot off, as it looks like Hartford's going to go on another power play, as it looks like Pittsburgh committed a tripping penalty. Now Comfort with some space gives to Arvidsson. Arvidsson peels back, gets some space. Patrick Kane on the side of the net. His rip will go for a goal. Patrick Kane spins around, finds a better spot, and just rips it past Tristan Jarry for his 29th of the season. Absolute rocket there by Patrick Kane, as Hartford answers quick. Arvidsson give to Kane. Kane rip around Peterson a little bit to get a better angle. And he finishes a quick shot there, as Hartford takes their third different lead of the game. Now with 18:03 left, Pittsburgh wins this one. Letang will take it up for the Penguins. He's closed off there by Dmitry Orlov. Tyson Barrie with it for the Whalers. He'll skate it in over to Arvidsson. Can't get a shot off. It's pickpocketed by Sidney Crosby, who's hit there by Orlov, not before getting it off for Guentzel. Now Orlov back with it. We'll give up to JT Compher with some space. His pass to Patrick Kane saved there by Tristan Jarry. Kane tried to get another one there, but denied by Tristan Jarry. So an offensive zone faceoff for Hartford. Scott Lawton wins the draw back to Orlov. Now Tyson Barrie. Nothing doing in front and congestion. Loose puck picked up by Granlund. He gives to Raquel. Battling against Lawton against the boards as he wins. And he'll take it up the boards. Now pass back for Granlund. In front for Rust. Saved there by Tarasov. Good adjustment in front on a good chance for Rust. Well, it certainly could have been a lot worse here for Tarasov. I won't say he's played stupendous. I mean, it's obviously only two periods and change into his first game, but it definitely could have been worse. As he'll get another freeze of the puck. In the last episode, we saw Matt Murray surrender 8 goals, so I'm definitely happy with only 3 allowed here, a quarter of the way through the third period, as we keep our second line out there, headlined by Scott Lawton. Hartford wins the draw back to Cody Ceci. He'll give to Mangiapane. Mangiapane takes it in for Hartford. Petrie picks up the loose puck. Petrie takes it up with speed. He'll give it to Bonino. Back to Petrie. Loose puck for Joseph. His shot, nothing doing in traffic. Cody Ceci gets it. He'll give over to Mangiapane. Closed off hard there by Joseph. And now a hard hit there by Lawton, as the Whalers and Penguins throw some blows. Stanley will give to Zadina. Can't handle it. Back to Lawton. Too many Penguins there. Lawton had nothing to do. Zucker with it. Loose puck ends up for Leo Carlson in the offensive zone. Carlson works his way in. He's up against the boards there. He'll give back to Foligno. Foligno to Stanley at the blue line. Over to Lawton. Lawton, a soft shot there, gloved by Tristan Jarry. Hartford keeps this 1-goal lead so far with now just 12 minutes, just over 12 minutes here we got to hold. Scott Lawton now in sole possession as the NHL's hit leader, and you do like to see that. Now Jake Evans out there for Hartford. He'll win the draw in the offensive zone. Cody Ceci shot, glove save Tristan Jarry. So we'll do it again here. Now Paul Stastny and Jake Evans on the draw. See Leo Carlson at the bottom of the screen against against Jeff Carter. Loose puck in front picked up by Stastny. Now Jeff Carter will take it up for the Penguins. He'll give over to Johnson Vahalby with some space. Back to Carter. Loose puck picked up by Tarasov. And Pittsburgh had a chance there in transition, but they couldn't get an opportunity off. As this third line for Hartford will yet again go up against this fourth line for Pittsburgh. Won there by the Penguins. Smith there hit, and Foligno's going to get a tripping penalty. Again, like we saw earlier, like the player tries to block the shot, and then he just ends up tripping the guy. So Hartford goes to their third penalty kill in this game, as they're 2 for 2 so far, as we'll try and preserve this lead. As he just dives right into him there. So Crosby back out there, obviously still seeking a hat trick. And we did surrender a hat trick to Patrick Laine in the last episode. So hopefully we won't have 2 straight episodes of hat tricks allowed. Letang picks up the clear attempt. Up ice, Tucker now to Arvidsson, who gives over to JT Compher. And he dumps it in. Picked up by Letang with 1.5 minutes left on this Pittsburgh power play. Sidney Crosby gives to Jake Gensel. Works his way in, poked away by Tucker. Tucker working against Gensel. Gensel gets a pass off for Letang's shot. Went wide, or I think it might have been blocked. As Hartford tries for a clear, picked up by Letang. Now Malkin gets a shot off, saved Tarasov. Daniil Tarasov trying to get his first NHL win here in over a year. So now we see JT Compher getting on the top 10 hits league leader leaderboard. Less than a minute left now as faceoffs are even. Let's see who splits it here. As Hartford will get the advantage. Orlov gets the clear out. Scott Long will give chase, and he'll have some space. Or that's McMichael, who has some space in front. Pad save Jari. Connor McMichael still looking for his first goal as a Whaler here. Jake Evans shot in front, blocked. Now Malkin will work his way in for Pittsburgh. He'll peel back. Centering pass for Carter. A rip. Glove save by Tarasov. And that was a hard shot by Jeff Carter, who's always been known for his sniping ability. As Pittsburgh has a home game against Carolina coming up, and that's a pivotal one as Pittsburgh is trailing them by 2 points in the Metro. As they currently are not in the playoffs, but I thought we were getting another trip penalty there. Pittsburgh not currently in the playoffs, but only 2 points out of Carolina. As Hartford goes 3 for 3 on the penalty kill here. Raquel will take it up for Pittsburgh now at even strength. Starting pass for Zucker. His shot taken by Foligno. Loose puck into the corner. Picked up by Granlund. He'll give back to Schultz. Schultz shot through traffic. And a rebound. Granlund's going to put it home to tie it yet again here. Schultz got a shot off. Just pucks on net. And Granlund's there to put home the rebound for his 19th of the season. They stalled there. Schultz kind of ran into Raquel. But then he does get the shot off. And right there in front, Granlund's able to put it home. As we're now at 4-4 in this game. He now ties Malkin as they're both at 19 goals on the season. We're here at now 8:10 left in this third period of a 4-4 game. Face-off won by Compher back to Ceci. Ceci goes over to Compher. Compher hit hard there by Letang, and then loose puck will go to Granlund, who gives to Raquel. As the Penguins take it into Hartford territory. Into the corner now. Pass in front for Rust is saved there by Tarasov. 7:10 now left in this third period of a tie game. Granlund out there on the draw against JT Compher. Compher wins back to Logan Stanley, who gives to Patrick Kane. Kane works his way in. He's closed off there. Loose puck to Compher. His shot blocker saved Tristan Jarry. Now Victor Arvidsson tries to get it, but he's overtaken by Rust. Rust gives up to Raquel. Poked away by Stanley, who gets possession using that reach. Stanley will work it in. In front. Foligno gets a shot blocked in front. Letang will get it to Raquel. He skates it in for Pittsburgh. Works his way up. Now to Crosby in front. Saved Tarasov. Loose puck behind the net picked up by Tyson Barrie. Now 5 minutes left in this game. As Tyson Barrie's pass is intercepted there by Raquel in the neutral zone. Poked away from Crosby. Now Foligno will take it the other way for Hartford. Foligno behind the net for Evans. Evans now to Stanley. In front for Barry. Over to Foligno. In front for Evans, who gets his second goal of the game. What a great display of puck movement there by the Hartford Whalers as Foligno with the primary feed there. That was crafty from our Hartford Whalers. This third line of Foligno, Evans, and Carlson kind of looking good here so far. You know, just around the world, and then they finished in the corner to Jake Evans. And now Evans, like Sidney Crosby, looking for the hat trick as Hartford takes another lead here, 5-4, with 4:16 left to play in this game. Assist there to Marcus Foligno and Tyson Barrie. Now Evans back with it for Hartford. Gives to Orlov. Orlov in front, shot save Jari. Rebound. He pokes it away into the corner. Picked back up by Dmitry Orlov. Now Petrie to Crosby, who will give to Jake Gensel. He's hit hard there, and that's going to be a charge, I think. Dmitry Orlov, two minutes for charging, as Hartford will look to kill their fourth straight power play of the game. Probably a clean hit, but they've been kind of soft with these calls in this series. And wow, Jake Gensel, that looked like he just got a concussion. That's an immediate concussion, I would say. So Hartford's penalty kill back out there as they try to fend off this pesky Pittsburgh power play unit, which is 3:18 left in this game as Tyler Tucker does not get the clear. Picked up by Smith now. Centering pass picked up by Barrie, who will get the clear. Less than 3 minutes now. Schultz takes it up for Pittsburgh. He'll give to Riley Smith as Smith enters the zone. Works his way in against Tucker. Loose puck in front now ends up in the corner for Zucker, who gives back to Smith. Over to Schultz. He'll get a shot off glove saved by Tarasov. Schultz probably going for another rebound like before. And that one's gloved by Tarasov as he handles it. Patrick Kane with 29 goals and 30 assists on the season at almost an even 30-30. Schultz with it off the faceoff win. Shot, blocker, save. And it looked like, I'm not sure who that was in front, had a chance there for Pittsburgh. But Tarasov slams the door. Another offensive zone faceoff here on the power play for the Penguins. Just over a minute left on the power play. As it's won there by Hartford. They can't get the clear though, although they do recover with Tyler Tucker now. His clear attempt blocked there by Gensel. Crosby a hard hit as Pittsburgh keeps possession. Taken back by Tucker, who clears it out of bounds. So an even 2 minutes left in this game. And the closer it gets to the end, the more anxious we get here as a Hartford Whaler fan. They haven't been the best at holding these late leads. Riley Smith shot off the faceoff, blocked away. Retrieved by Gensel, who gives to Malkin. Malkin back to Schultz. His shot blocked. Malkin now with it in front. Loose puck. McMichael tries the hand pass. Now Tucker gets to clear out to a neutral zone. Picked up by Evans, going for the hat trick here on the penalty kill. Shot block, pad save, Tristan Jarry. As this penalty kill will be another success for the Hartford Whalers as they go 4 for 4 on the penalty kill. Now Malkin working it in with some space. Back to Schultz. Schultz shot in front, deflected away. Gensel now. Crosby with it. As they pull Tristan Jarry with the extra attacker out there. As Tarasov makes another glove save here late in crunch time. Pittsburgh's second line out there, including the extra attacker though. As Granlund gets the faceoff win. Shot blocked away. 25 seconds left here as Hartford tries to hold. Letang with it for the Penguins. Pass back to the point for Malkin. Now to Peterson, who gets the game-tying goal. A shot from the blue line for Peterson, and Pittsburgh ties it up late. That's what I was worried about. Marcus Peterson, only his second goal of the season, but maybe probably the more important one here as he ties it with 18 seconds left. And he just gets a top shelf goal there. Nice shot to beat Tarasov glove side. And it's a shame we just couldn't quite hold in this one as we finally surrender a power play goal after a great previous showing from our penalty kill unit. So now another tie game here as Hartford ends up with it. Victor Arvidsson will give to JT Compher. Now 10 seconds left as Hartford has a chance to go back on top. Now in the corner, 6 seconds. Loose puck for Granlund. Now Russ takes it. And that's going to do it here in regulation as Hartford can't hold it. But At least we're able to hang here with the Penguins in a 5-5 game at the end of regulation. So now as we start overtime, we have been outshot 33-19 in this one, and yet we were able to sink 5 goals. So let's see if our 3-on-3 line here can be a little bit better. Only one overtime win on the season. As we get a chance in front, JT Compher off the rebound is saved there by Jari. JT Compher now in front. Glove save Jari. We had 2 chances there to put it away, but we couldn't finish JT Compher with those opportunities as Chris Letang takes it the other way. I'm sorry, that's Jake Gensel for Letang. Now loose puck behind the net. Letang in front. Glove saved by Tarasov as it bounces behind the net. Picked up by Crosby. Jake Gensel, his backhand shot blocked away there by Tarasov. Crosby in front now with it. His shot save. Crosby behind the net. He'll pull in front. Another shot for Crosby. Pad save there by Tarasov as Hartford finally gets it out. They'll get a breakaway here from Tyson Barrie. And Tyson Barrie is denied by Tristan Jarry on the game on his stick. Tyson Barrie is denied. And now Chris Letang takes it the other way with some space. He gives to Gensel, closed off, picked up by Compher. And Compher's going to have another opportunity going the other way there with Patrick Kane. In front for Patrick Kane, and he can't get a shot off. Good defense there. Now Orlov in front with it. Game on his stick, save Tristan Jarry. Now Patrick Kane back with it. And puck just goes into the corner, now picked up by Gensel. And Gensel is tired. He needs to get off the ice, but JT Compher couldn't really give chase as a fresh Evgeny Malkin has it now for the Penguins. His pass in front, Gensel wasn't ready for it. Now Dmitry Orlov will take it for Hartford the other way. He gets some space. Centering pass there intercepted by Malkin as he turns it the other way. 20 seconds now left in overtime. Zucker try to get Petrie in front. Now they have some space. Zucker backhand saved by Tarasov. Now Hartford, time for one more rush. It's picked off by Malkin. Now Petrie with it in the neutral zone. He spins away. Now to Zucker with 6 seconds. And it's taken there by Orlov. And overtime isn't going to be enough as both teams with some chances there, especially Hartford. We had a few good chances there, but no scoring here as we'll head to just Hartford's 3rd shootout of the season. And good news, folks, we're 2-0 in shootouts. All right, let's see if we can get the full 2 points here in this one as Patrick Kane's going to kick it off for us in this shootout. Works his way in with some patience. And he goes forehanded, saved there by Tristan Jarry on a quick shot. Evgeny Malkin will kick it off for the Penguins. Of course, always dangerous on these shootouts. And he's going to just get Evgeny Malkin just beat Tarasov there, 5-hole. So Pittsburgh goes up 1-0 here in this shootout. As now we'll lean on Victor Arvidsson to get us on the board here. He tried to go back to the forehand, and Chari stood pat and didn't even move. Now Crosby could end the game here with a goal. And he's going to do it, folks. Sidney Crosby gets the job done here. The captain delivers. As the Penguins trailed for most of this game, they never led, but they do come away with the win here in a shootout. Still not a bad performance here from Hartford coming off the trade deadline where we kind of gutted our team a little bit, and we're still able to kind of hang here with a playoff caliber Pittsburgh Penguins team. We don't quite get the win, but we'll get a point here as we surrender a shootout loss, our first shootout loss in this series as we now go to 2-1 in shootouts. And Daniil Tarasov kind of thrown into the fire here against a potent Pittsburgh offense. And while he did surrender 5 goals, he wasn't totally bad, so he's going to get a few more games here to close out this season. We see a nice goal there by Jake Evans, who had 2 in this game. So that's going to do it here in Pittsburgh, folks, as the Penguins beat the Hartford Whalers 6-5. So with that, I'll just close this episode real quick. I know it was kind of a longer episode. I appreciate you sticking it out as we completed the trade deadline here in this one and just watched. I figured we'd get a look at our fresh team featuring a few new faces. So not much of an impact from any of those guys, although we did see our first look at Daniil Tarasov in net. And thank you as always for the support. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. And as always, it's been real and be well. I'll see you next time. Thank you so much.